Guys, I want to make this video because I want to address a popular misconception, or rather a myth. By the way, this is Pancake, my cat. Uh, I'm putting him on my lap because otherwise he's gonna be meowing, making all sorts of noise while I'm trying to record this video. It has stopped me from recording video for quite a number of times already, so I'm trying not to do that anymore. I'm trying to be consistent over here. Oh, Pancake, please keep quiet, okay? All right, so I'm making this video because I want to address a very popular misconception about AI adopting our writing style. You see, for the longest time, the promise has always been that is capable of cloning you. AI is capable of duplicating you. Is able to become you, and we've been trying that. In fact, many businesses have been formed around the topic. Things like character.ai, cloning your videos and creating your voice. But before any of all of that, the first of its kind was actually the writing style. So the promise of AI is that, okay, I'm gonna be able to help you write your emails in your voice, being able to help you write social media content in your voice, etc., etc. And it sounds nice on the surface, but those of us who are more experienced when it comes to copywriting, who are more trained, like who have a certain kind of pace, we know that that's not true, not 100%. It can get you there for about half of the time. Like it can help you outline, it can help you research, it can help you brainstorm, it can do that very, very well. But the moment, especially those of you who are AI power users, you know this for sure. The moment the AI knows that it is telling a story, or it knows that it's making a sales copy or a content, it puts on this very performative hat, right? And it starts to write in a very theatrical way. So previously, before it finds out that it's writing for an audience, it will be able to dissect a topic really well. It's able to explain to you, and you'll be looking at it. It's like, yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly what I want to say. But the moment it switches on the copywriter hat, everything goes to hell. And so a lot of the AI bros out there at this point is gonna be like, no, it's because you're not prompting it well. It's not AI's fault. It is your fault. Respectfully, I want to say, as being one of those guys before in the past, no, it is the AI bros don't have taste. A lot of them they tolerate very low quality copy because they are in favor of volume, and because they invest so much more time when it comes to learning AI as opposed to learning copywriting, that they can't tell what is AI and what is human. But the clients that I serve, and myself included, when we look at copy, we have a certain level of taste. We have a certain kind of standards that, um, if for nothing else, we would feel embarrassed to release if we just let it go like that. So it is not about the prompting. Like a lot of times people say, okay, like yeah, bros, is about the prompting. Okay, sure. So in my first year of working with AI, that's exactly what I did. I prompted and I prompted and I prompted and I prompted. And for a year, I was doing exactly that. At some point, the kind of prompts that I was using was a mega prompt. Like I was doing mega prompt long before other people started even understanding the term mega prompt. At some point, one of my prompts for writing content was 45,000 characters long. It was extremely detailed, okay? And did it produce a human sounding copy? Yes, it did produce a very human sounding copy. But there is a problem. The problem is every single content was like sounding exactly the same. So it was so specific to the point where the AI no longer reasons, and the AI starts to follow the rules like a template. So every piece has the same structure, has the same flow. You can, and if you are trained as a copywriter, you can almost tell, okay, this is the problem, this is the agitate, this is a solution, blah, 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 blah. And at a certain point, it's like the patterns, it keeps looking exactly the same. And for the most part, it is still usable, to be honest. Because most people aren't even gonna see the same content. Like your audience isn't gonna read the content many times. Like you put out 20 pieces of content, they probably read like 3. So they wouldn't notice that it is repeating. But your diehard fans will notice that it's repeating. And you yourself will notice that it's repeating. So I got tired of that. And at some point I started to learn from there's a gentleman by the name of Jeff Hunter. He taught me this method. It's like we don't even need so many prompts. We just gotta give it a lot of examples. So that was my evolution 2, right? Evolution 2 was, okay, I'm just going to give it lots and lots of examples. And it worked very well. It worked even better than heavy prompting. So in my mind, version 1 was a lot of prompt, because the AI bros all say you gotta be very specific with your prompts. So that was exactly what I did. And for a large part, it accomplished what I wanted it to accomplish. And I was thinking, okay, maybe the next step is to create multiple different templates. Maybe you can come out with 20 different templates so they all sound different and unpredictable and nice and entertaining. And I almost did that, and then Jeff showed me. At which point I was like, okay, I'm just gonna just go straight into doing pure examples, and that was when I landed in this. So like at a point in time, I think this was about 2 years ago. Claude was the one which has the only model that has 200,000 token capacity, right? Context limit, context window. So I did exactly that, and one of the files that I put inside would be like, okay, here is example of all my best emails, all of my best content, adopt my writing style, and it did that very, 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 very well, and it continued to do very well for about a year, and at that point in time, I'm gonna tell you why only for about a year, but it was not able. What is noteworthy at that point in time is that other models were not able to do it as well as Claude. Other models like ChatGPT, Gemini, they were total shit shows. Like they were not able to replicate the writing style, the voice as well. Okay, then there goes Pancake. He's like yelling over there. Pancake, can you leave me alone for a while? Okay, he's like looking at me like, okay. So we tried that for about a year, and I don't understand. I never really quite understood why. And at first I thought that, okay, it is because of RAG. Claude has strong RAG, and ChatGPT has poor RAG, and Gemini has poor RAG. And I believed that for a very long time. However, that is not true. Because at the start of 2025, Anthropic did something with this section over here. So you see, previously it has always been like this. Like I would put in, as an example, current campaign emails. So these are all the emails. This is a collection of all my emails, right? So the moment I put it like this, Claude would know, okay, we're gonna follow this style. But Anthropic did something in early 2025. First of all, they released Sonnet 3.7. So Sonnet 3.5, Sonnet 3, Sonnet 2, Sonnet 3, no, sorry, Opus 2, Sonnet 3, and Sonnet 3.5. I believe that those were the things. Sonnet 3.5 and 3.7 is definitely correct. I can't remember which was 2.0. But anyway, during those era, Claude was able to replicate your voice extremely well, but there are two big problems. The number one problem was the conversation limit can hit very, very fast. And number two problem is that you can't upload a lot. So as an example, if I were to just upload this one file, current campaign emails, it would instantly take up like 87% of the project capacity. Right now, I put in 5 different files of similar sizes, and it only took up 7% of project capacity. So the first thing that changed was that they discontinued 3.5 and they only use 3.7. And then a couple of months later, they released Sonnet 4. And on top of that, like this entire thing, like the project capacity was suddenly massively increased. And that was the moment where Claude starts to drop the ball. And for many months, me and my entire community, uh, we were struggling a lot. It's like I keep giving it my examples, but it just refused to copy my examples. I keep giving it more instruction, but it just keeps forgetting. There is the drift. There is the theatrical languages starting coming out, like no A, no B, just C, right? This isn't X, this is Y, right? Uh, and then it would start using things like anaphoras. Like, what are anaphoras? Basically, do I have to open it? I'm just gonna open it to show you guys what are anaphoras. Uh, Writing rules? Or it's not writing rules. Where is it? It's probably not here. QC master checklist. It's probably here. All right, yeah, it's here. All right. Defensive statements. It's not X, it's about Y. I'm not saying anything. Let me tell you, here's the thing, here's what I learned, here's the kicker, this kind of stuff, the setup phrases, theatrical patterns, no hype, no promises, just results, right? Same A, same B, different C. So it's like same tools, same strategies, completely different results. And then you got anaphora, which is like, I want this, I want that. Over here, they test new hooks, they try new frameworks, they study formulas. So it's basically same phrase starting multiple consecutive sentences. You have a lot of these things. And initially, in 3.5, 3.0, 3.5 Sonnet, I never needed to specify all of these to Claude. I never had to explain to Claude, don't use this shit. Claude would automatically pick up. Because why? Because it is automatically following my writing style. But starting from 3.7 onwards, and when the project capacity started to increase, all this went to shit. All this went to hell. It just keep doing this again, and that necessitated me from creating evolving authority, V4, V1, V2, V3, V4, which is like basically a massive compilation of everything. This one over here is a QC master checklist, what not to do. These are instructions, and over time I realized that, wow, the number of instructions that I have to give, even though Claude is supposedly getting smarter and smarter, is massively increasing. The bloat is, I'm getting reminded of those days where I created 45,000 character prompts again. And the problem with having very ultra specific prompt is that you are locking in, you're not letting the AI have a lot of freedom of thinking and creativity when you do so. So it's not able to think. It's not able to, like, it is locked into following your rules. And I didn't want that. So I never really quite understood this, and I keep struggling every single 2 or 3 months. Every time Claude Anthropic updates something, I have to release a new version of Evolving Authority so that my members and my community has the latest version. So, and I really never understood why until I started building Neo. Because when I started building Neo, I had to go and learn all these things, like had to really go understand what RAG architecture even means. And then I learned about context stuffing, and then I learned about why Claude's RAG is stronger than other LLMs RAGs, and I finally understood. So first epiphany, first aha, was that this part over here. Okay, you guys see this thing here? It says 7% of project capacity used, and it says indexing, right? So over here, if I remove this, notice that it no longer says indexing. It says 5% of project capacity use. No longer indexing. What does this mean? So initially, before 3.7 came out, during the good old days of 3.5, apparently Claude don't even do RAG, or at least that's my understanding of it. They do direct context stuffing. Context stuffing meaning when you put a file over here, before you say hi, now Anthropic system prompt is a little bit weird. In other model system prompt, what they do is that every time you put an input, it will attach together with a certain instruction to go to the API. All right, to go to the AI. Over here, a Claude system prompt is very weird. Claude system prompt is it's attached at the start of the conversation and it persists throughout the conversation. Like it is in context, but it is no longer repeated. If you don't understand what that means, don't worry about it. But what it does is that when you say hi, Claude takes all of these files and inject it together in this one conversation. So all of this is loaded in context. It is not ragged. It is not searched. Excuse me. However, the moment I do something like this, we're gonna wait for it to load for a while. Yeah. So the moment I add this in, it says why is F2? Okay, it says 7% of commercial capacity use indexing. The moment it says indexing, it means now it is starting to rag. And Anthropic, I think I'm guessing that because Anthropic was starting to be very confident with their rag, and in the first place, their use case hasn't been so much on copywriting. They are moving more and more towards coding and stuff. So they're relying more and more on rag, and so they've been improving their rag. So they stopped doing context injection. They stopped using context stuffing as a technique. So it's like when I put stuff in there, we all thought, wow, I can put so much more stuff in there, and Claude will know. Claude doesn't know, because they are doing retrieval augmented generation. They are doing RAG. So 7%. So the moment this happens, right, it will only scan. So why is this such a big deal? It's a big deal because imagine if you were to read a document and you are scanning versus studying it. All right. Scanning a poem by William Shakespeare is not the same as thoroughly studying the nuances of how William Shakespeare writes his poems, right? Just looking through reading a lyric, a song lyric, is very different from reading line by line, word by word, analyzing it, understanding it, reflecting on it, and seeing how it applies to yourself is two very different worlds. So context stuffing is like reading line by line, analyze, having it in memory, right? Whereas RAG is like I scan. So putting aside all the technical terms, that's essentially what this means. Scan. So from that moment onwards, right? Like the moment Anthropic increased Claude's project capacity, Claude stops understanding in nuance. It starts scanning. So when I give it something like my current campaign emails with all of these things, okay, what it does is that you will scan, you will scan one chunk over here, you will scan another chunk over here, you scan another chunk over there. It will look like this, like here, and then like whatever I'm highlighting now, you will scan a bit here and there, up to about eight chunks. And then, okay, I think I get it. Yeah, it's more or less I get it. Yeah, and then it will confidently declare to you that okay, I know, I understand your writing style now, right? Okay, I will start writing. So I had to do a lot of weird techniques, like keyword chaining. I have to invent a lot of techniques in order to circumvent around this. On hindsight, I could have just spent all this time just building a new software, but what's done is done. So what I did was, I don't think I want to explain that, but basically, the scanning is the problem. Okay, so it starts scanning. So for the entire 2025, like that was our reality. Keep having to wrestle with it. So the satisfaction rating for myself personally, before 3.7, I will be like 90 to 95% have satisfied with Claude's writing quality. After 3.7, I will be like 60, 65%. I would have to change here and there. And I had a lot of issues when it comes to new clients. There are many different guardrails that I put inside there that Claude absolutely ignored. Like high status guardrail, it completely ignored. How to write for whales, it completely ignored. all these rules that I showed you about, it completely ignored. And I had to create more and more patches on top of that. Why is it? And at some point, I even asked myself, like, why is it that even though I don't see this indexing thing, it is still not getting the nuances. Until to this day, I don't understand why. But Anthropic did something in the back end. They're not telling us. We have no way to find out. So what I decided instead is that I'm gonna work on Neo, which is my own app. And the difference with Neo, and this finally solved the problem. The other day I showed you guys a video about my own emails that I wrote using Neo, and you guys saw the damn quality. This thing over here, all right, I'm just gonna show you all the way down here. Okay, this thing was 100% written by Neo. Yes, there was like a little bit of anaphora, but I literally don't care. It's so good. Even when it is like, even like over here, look at this, the distracted intern Wi-Fi plot. I call it distracted intern problem. Imagine you hire a brilliant intern from Harvard. They're smart, they're fast, they know everything, but they have amnesia. Every morning you have to remind them who you are. You have to remind them what your company does. You have to remind them that you hate the word Delph and that you prefer short sentences. You spend 20 minutes training them. They do one task perfectly, then they go to lunch. And when they come back, they have forgotten everything. This is amazing. All right, it finally understood how I write. So, and I found out the secret of that. The secret is direct context stuffing. So in Neo, whatever you put over here, this is the vault, okay? Whatever you put over here, this is raggable. This is searchable. These are indexed, okay? These are your vault. This is your bank. And then this part here, I call it the loadout panel, right? In the loadout panel, whatever you put it inside, it is your wallet. This is directly context stuffed into the conversation so that no matter how long a conversation becomes, right? Over here, we don't have conversation because we use context compression technique. But because I apply this thing over here, no matter how long the conversation becomes, you can have a conversation for 2 weeks straight in a single conversation. This file here will stay in persistent memory. That's another topic. A lot of AI developers use the word persistent memory these days. It is not persistent at all. With Neo, is actually going to be persistent. Whatever you put over there, Neo will never forget. Now, this solves a whole lot of issues. But there's one more thing that I want to show you guys. I thought to myself, okay, this is great, but I still need to QC myself. All right. Sometimes I need to read and everything. I want it so that even if I am not there to QC, if Neo were to be the one that is writing for you, and it has to have all my skills, all my knowledge, all my tastes to QC your work for you, what kind of guardrails must I put in there in order to make it so as if that I am the one that is writing on your behalf? And the answer is we have to re-engineer this whole thing. Not re-engineer, but like we have to create something even more sophisticated. And so this is where I am at right now. And I think that this is the real thing that is truly the permanent fix to this. So in this new way, right, I'm still using Neo. This is the Neo's backend. I'm using Replit, but I'm gonna bring your attention to how do I even close this thing? I'm just gonna open like this. Expand full view. All right. So archetypes. This is my backend. This is basically where I change and modify and improve all the dozens of small little prompts here and there that governs Neo. Archetypes is basically a new thing that I'm incorporating. So like archetypes is to Neo what custom GPT is to ChatGPT. Except archetypes are gonna be a lot better than custom GPT. They're gonna be a lot better because we use techniques that guarantees that Neo never forgets. And over here, as you can see, like I have like orchestrator, interviewer, executor, checker. What the hell is this? This is important because Neo's Neo's archetypes are not a single AI workflow. It is a multi-modal, multi-agentic workflow, all for the sake of one thing: maximum quality. So orchestrator is basically the orchestrator. This is the this is the guy waving the wand and whatever. It coordinates between interviewer, executor, and checker. So in interviewer, what interviewer does is that when you pull out an archetype, you as a user will not realize that you're talking to three different agents. You as a user will believe, it will feel like you're talking to one person only. But behind the scenes, three different agents are coordinating with one another. First, you have the interviewer. The interviewer have only one job, which is to interview you, ask you question. And it's not going to ask you question ask you 10 questions at once, which is typical AI. It's going to ask you one question at a time, following a certain, not a certain predetermined question. It will ask you question based on the context you give it, based on its memory of you. Yes, Neo has memory. It's going to ask you question based on what it knows about you, and also what it knows about my workflow, my thought process, my gut reels, my taste. And if you are hinting that you are about to, that you want to write something that is not gonna help you convert, or something that is overly vulnerable, or something that is like low status, it's gonna call you out on it. Not only will it call you out on it, it's gonna coach you through it to help you arrive at the kind of angle and the right kind of framing that you will be happy to adopt, that you will be happy and proudly say in public. So that is like one thing, okay? So it's going to ask you questions in order to gather details about what you want to say. If you don't have any idea of what you want to say, it's going to coach you to be able to come up with something. It's going to extract whatever that is happening in your life right now and turn it into high status content that you can proudly share online. Once that is done, it's going to pass to the executor. Executor will have all of the files that I give it as well. Okay, it will have all the files. It will also have my frameworks and everything, just like interviewer, but it has only one job, and that one job is to write. I know you might be thinking like, why so complicated? Why must we have like three different agents? I'm gonna tell you why later. But for now, I'm gonna explain this. So executor will write one. Before I pass to executor, I forgot to mention. Interviewer is gonna ask you for permission. Do you I think I have enough context now. I think I have enough information now. Would you like me to write for you? And then you press approve. Yes, write it. Once you say yes, write. Executor is gonna write for you. Executor will not be talking to you. Executor's only job is to write only. After it finishes writing, in order to guarantee quality, the executor is gonna send this draft to the checker. Checker is like the editor is like an editor, master editor, and it's gonna copy sheaf the entire thing. And it's gonna check the draft against number one, against what it knows of you. Number two, it's gonna assess it from the perspective of the intended reader, and number three, it's gonna check it against the QC rules and all the writing principles and stuff like that. So once it does these three things, if anything fails, it's gonna pass the draft back to the executor with feedback. Okay, it's gonna pass the draft back to the executor with feedback, and it's gonna keep on passing back and forth until it finishes, up to a maximum of 5. We gotta put a limit, otherwise we might have an infinite loop problem. So we put it like this. Why do we do 3 things? Why do we have like 3? Why can't I just prompt one single AI? to do the job of three. Well, answer is very simple. When you overload, when you ask an AI to do too many things all at once, it drifts, it loses context. And if you notice, an AI is terrible at assessing its own work until you point it out, right? You can say, okay, assess your own work. You can put it as a part of a prompt. Say, after you finish writing, assess your own work. And it will do that. After it finishes writing, it will assess its own work. And those of you who are experienced with AI, you know that when you do it like this, it's not going to be truthful. It's going to lie to you. It's dishonest. It will say, okay, all of these passes. And then until you point out, okay, like over here, theatrical language, over here, no A, no B, this is a framework, over here, this is over here is one. What about all these? And they say, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot. I'm so sorry. I should have followed your. Yeah, you're right. I didn't really read the files that you uploaded. I was just scanning through. It will start saying things like that. So AI is great at producing work and it's great at assessing, but not two in one. So we need to give the AI one job at a time. So over here, interviewer, it has minimal system prompt, minimal priming prompt. I haven't explained what is priming. Topic for another day. It will have minimum system prompt, minimum priming prompt. You have just enough context to do one job very well. And it's gonna pass to another agent who only have just enough context to do one job very well. And it's gonna pass to another agent like this. So it's gonna have orchestrator, interviewer, executor, and checker. Orchestrator is actually not an AI. Orchestrator is actually just code. So there's three things like this. So in the ultimate, the end product is when you are on Neo, all right, you can just because I just showed you the back end. When you are on Evolving Authority, right now Evolving Authority is just a placeholder, it's not yet set up. But when you're on Evolving Authority, you'll be able to start a conversation, and when you start a conversation, there's only one place where you need to enter things, which is like this. There's gonna be one little button here that you can press, that you'll be able to connect your Google Doc that is filled with all of your writing samples, and this thing will persist throughout your conversation, and it will be governed by that orchestrator plus three agents that I showed you in the back end. So this is basically what's gonna happen. I'm setting this up right now. I can't show you it working because there are still bugs that I need to fix. But this is the intended architecture of the archetypes system in Neo. And the reason why this is like something that I'm very excited about is because I want to give you guys the power to do this. Right. So right now it's just me. I am building this. I am using it myself to sell my own methodology, to protect my IP while at the same time monetize my intellectual property. But you guys will be able to have this power sometime in the future. You will have this three agentic system. Maybe it will evolve into something else. I do not know. But does not have to be just content. It can be design philosophy. It can be coding. It can be writing proposals, writing sales pages, writing advertisement, thread writing, social media content, right? Whatever it is that you want, that you need writing work to be done, right? That is the final output is written. This can be done. And when I give Neo vision and stuff like that, then it can do design work as well. So be excited for that. Right now we are on phase 2 of Neo. Once I wrap up phase 2 of Neo, once I have this proven system, like the moment that this system is like 100% reliable, all right, I'm gonna allow Neo users to be able to do the same as well. So be excited for that. Yeah. That's what I want to share. So in this video, I've already shared with you guys like basically why AI keep failing to adopt your voice and why it's actually not really true. What all the AI bros are saying, oh, AI can just adopt your voice. It's not true. Like even if you give it, the other day I saw one very big creator talking about how he gave a 450 question and answer draft to the AI. It's not gonna work. Like you can give very specific as you want, but for as long as the AI is still doing RAG, it's not gonna follow. So it's not as simple as what most people think. Right? Hope this gives you some insight So after that, I also explained to you like all the stuff that has been happening over the past 2 years, my attempts, what I've learned along the way, and what I believe is a true best in class way of capturing your voice, which is this three agent flow, multimodal flow, multi-modal flow. So hope you guys learned something new and something interesting today. If you want to follow along my journey of building Neo, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.